In this video, we'll explore Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. Without it, life on our planet would be drastically different, if it existed at all. We'll look into various conspiracy theories about the Moon and discuss how it could become a vital resource hub for humanity in the future. Let's begin with 10 fascinating facts about the Moon, starting with its origin. Currently, several hypotheses attempt to explain how the Moon formed. The first is the capture hypothesis. It suggests that the Moon originated elsewhere in the solar system and was later pulled into Earth's orbit by gravity. Another theory proposes that the Earth and Moon formed together from a massive dust cloud. Earth formed first, and then the Moon emerged from the remaining material. There's also the multiple moons hypothesis. It claims that Earth once had several smaller moons that eventually collided and merged into one. All these theories aim to explain certain anomalies, like the Moon's lower density compared to Earth, and the similarity in oxygen isotopes found in both bodies' crusts and mantles. However, many scientists today support the giant impact hypothesis. It posits that around 4.5 billion years ago, a Mars-sized protoplanet, Theia, collided with the young Earth. The impact ejected enormous amounts of debris into space, which eventually coalesced into the Moon. This event also sped up Earth's rotation. This theory became widely accepted after Apollo missions brought Moon rock samples back to Earth. Analysis of these samples forced scientists to reconsider earlier theories. Now, let's discuss a rare and valuable resource believed to exist on the Moon, helium-3. This element could be key to future energy production through nuclear fusion. Helium-3 accumulates in the Moon's soil due to constant bombardment by solar wind. Unlike Earth, the Moon lacks an atmosphere to block this radiation. If controlled fusion reactors are developed, helium-3 could power them, providing clean energy without harmful waste. 1 ton of helium-3 might someday be worth billions of euros. This makes lunar mining a potentially profitable enterprise, even with the high cost of space transport. The Moon's impact on life on Earth cannot be overstated. Its gravitational pull causes tides and stabilizes Earth's axial tilt. Tides help create shallow water environments, ideal breeding grounds for early life. Some scientists believe life first emerged in these tidal pools. Without the Moon, tides would be weaker and more frequent, possibly preventing life from forming altogether. Tides also help life transition from water to land, as waves threw organisms onto shorelines. This may have sparked evolutionary developments on land. The Moon's role in climate stability is just as crucial. Without it, Earth's axis would shift wildly, causing chaotic weather patterns. Such instability would hinder the development of complex life. The Moon also lengthens our day-night cycle, giving organisms more time to adapt to their environments. Some biologists believe that habitable planets must have moons to support life. That's why astronomers consider Earth-like exoplanets with moons to be prime candidates in the search for alien life. Naturally, the Moon is also a hotbed for conspiracy theories. One of the strangest is the idea that the Moon is a hollow spaceship created by an ancient advanced civilization. According to this theory, the Moon contains machinery, engines, and its own light source, completely separate from sunlight. Others claim the Moon doesn't exist at all, that it's a hologram projected into the sky. They point to camera distortions as proof, ignoring higher quality footage that contradicts their claims. Some even believe the Moon is a flat image always facing Earth because it's fake. These ideas, while widely debunked, still attract millions of believers. Another widespread theory suggests that the Moon landings were faked. Some claim NASA filmed staged footage after allegedly finding alien ruins or spaceships on the Moon. This theory was popularized by American author Bill Kaysing, who wrote a book in 1976 called We Never Went to the Moon. He alleged that NASA lacked the technology to land on the Moon and return safely. Kaysing's book contained bizarre claims, like astronauts partying in Las Vegas during the mission. Despite its oddities, the book ignited widespread doubt and inspired many later conspiracy theories. Eventually, an entire subculture formed around these ideas, giving rise to new arguments and fake evidence. Interestingly, Kazin also claimed that Yuri Gagarin never went to space. His eclectic career included writing books on sewing, gardening, and living on a tight budget. The moon landings were among the most watched events in human history. But public interest faded, budgets were slashed, and lunar missions became rare. However, attention may return due to the moon's valuable resources, especially helium-3. Mining helium-3 could become economically viable if fusion reactors are developed. Even with high launch costs, the material's worth could justify lunar operations. There's even a novelty business selling moon land to the public. An American named Dennis Hope claimed ownership of the moon in the 1980s, citing a loophole in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. He began selling plots for $25 per acre and made millions, although his certificates hold no legal weight. As private companies plan lunar bases and mining projects, questions of ownership and resource rights are becoming more pressing. In the absence of clear regulations, whoever arrives first may claim access to lunar resources. This raises concerns as countries like the US and China race toward the moon. The moon's importance extends beyond resources. It's essential for Earth's stable climate and the survival of many species. Marine animals, for example, rely on lunar tides to regulate their breeding. Corals often synchronize their spawning with the moon's phases. Migratory birds and insects use the moon for navigation. Its light also benefits nocturnal animals like bats and owls. Though the moon doesn't directly affect human behavior, it was historically used for navigation at sea. Each year, the moon drifts about 3.8 centimeters farther from Earth. This is measured using laser reflectors left by Apollo astronauts. Though minimal, this shift shows that the moon once exerted stronger tidal forces. In ancient times, tides were massive, with waves reaching kilometers inland. But what if the moon vanished? Science can simulate such a scenario, and the outlook is grim. Tidal ecosystems would collapse, wiping out many marine species. Ocean currents would shift, drastically altering global climate. Regions near the equator could become unbearably hot deserts, while others could freeze. Earth's axial tilt would become unstable, potentially swinging by over 10 degrees. Such a change could lead to catastrophic climate events, making Earth far less habitable. Fortunately, the moon isn't going anywhere for now. Its continued presence ensures the survival of life as we know it. Often overshadowed by the Apollo missions, the Soviet lunar program also achieved significant milestones. Although it didn't send humans to the moon, its unmanned missions made major scientific contributions. Starting in the late 1950s, the USSR launched a series of lunar spacecraft. They captured the first images of the moon's far side and returned soil samples to Earth. The Luna 16 mission became the first to retrieve lunar soil automatically, after the Apollo missions had already done so manually. The Soviets also planned crewed missions, including lunar flybys and potential landings. However, these projects were hindered by budget cuts and internal competition among design bureaus. The death of key engineer Sergei Korolyov in 1966 further weakened the program. Eventually, the USSR abandoned its crewed lunar ambitions, recognizing that the US had already achieved the goal. Interestingly, the Soviets were the first to return living organisms from lunar orbit. Turtles flew around the moon and safely came back to Earth, months before the Apollo 11 landing. Even the Soviet program wasn't spared from conspiracy theories. Some claim the USSR attempted moon landings that failed, resulting in hidden cosmonaut deaths. Others believe the Soviets planned to fake lunar landings with staged videos and photos. Before early lunar missions, scientists feared the moon's surface might be too soft, possibly covered in deep layers of dust. There were concerns that a lander would simply sink. Debates continued until Soviet engineers, led by Korolev, insisted the moon's surface was solid. They designed lunar rovers accordingly, and were proven right. Today, humanity knows far more about the moon, thanks to decades of exploration. The big question now is, who will return there first, America or China? Thanks for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope to see you again soon.